And then I downloaded a book called Author 101 Marketing, just that kind of
Cool.
went through, it goes through stages and you keep a notebook and take notes. And so I'm still working on that, but that's what I started with last week. So
Excellent. What did you get out of the book? How did that help your confidence?
it was good because a lot of the things I realized I was already kind of doing, it just kind of gave me a little bit better information how to do it a little bit better. So
Cool.
you feel a little bit less nervous about approaching things because I feel like the more you know about something, the more I understand it, the better I feel about going forward with it.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Cool. Fantastic. Janae, did you try the challenge with putting something down and having to think outside the box experience?
Really, all I did was I tried to implement what we brainstormed about with the 30% discount on the third item,
Uh-huh.
and that seemed to my last two parties. My last one was 41 pieces, and
Excellent.
my Saturday party was 22. So I mean, it's definitely above what my average has been lately. So
Cool.
um,
And how do you feel that about that with money coming in? I mean, you're not losing money, right?
no, no, and it's like we talked about it's getting me closer to the goal of moving the items, and that's what I really need to do right now.
Cool. Cool. And I saw that you put a little Facebook thing with a 30% off the
Yeah.
skirt. Have you got outside orders with that?
I didn't with that, but I posted um, I posted that I got a shipment in, just a pile
Uh-huh.
of shirts on the floor, and I got people that ordered from that, and
Cool.
several other things. So yeah, I think I'm going to do more posting of the skirt stuff on my personal page.
Cool.
So more people see it.
You have
So
surprisingly a lot of followers on your Facebook page. I mean, not surprisingly, pleasantly. Surprisingly was the wrong word. I apologize. You have a nice number of followers. What you might want to do is tag a number of like old hostesses or something like that, because Facebook is so obnoxious with how they
yeah.
let it get spread. So I would tag, maybe 5 hostesses from 4 months ago, because then it will spread across to their friends that were customers at the thing. That might help. Or even, share this and we'll do a drawing for one skirt. Something that like,
Yeah.
Facebook just is like,
You know, I tried to tag my hostess yesterday, and it wouldn't let me tag her. I don't know.
are you friends with her?
Yeah. So
But
I
you
don't know.
have to remember, you have to post the picture, then go
Yes.
back and tag her, and it still wasn't letting you do it.
No. I don't know what the deal was, because I'm able to do it normally, and I tried I don't know how many times yesterday, and it would not let me do it.
Mm.
I made sure I was
Like when I'm hitting a wall like that, I have to walk away from it, come back a couple hours later, and sometimes it'll finally work.
yeah, I did that, and it still wouldn't let me. So I'm like, whatever. So
That's bizarre.
yeah, I don't know what the deal was, because normally I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
But,
Oh no.
so
Who knows? I don't know. Okay. Well, cool. All right. So today's lesson, and this only allows me to go for 40 minutes. Worst case scenario, if we're really talking about something in depth, I'll just start another meeting. I'm just, right now I'm on the free thing. It's just $10 a month if I want to do it from now on out. So I just needed someone to practice with, and I knew you guys would be patient enough to give this a try. So I appreciate that. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong meeting this morning. Okay. All right. So today, some things I want to talk about. One of the things I want to start trying to do for you is to give you as many resources as I can on each subject. I know each subject that I teach, some of you will just kind of need little tidbits of it, and some of you will want to like, oh, I need this. And so I'm going to try to give you like movies you can watch as a family, books you could listen on audio, different things, and, you know, do what you want with it. Okay. It's just extra information that if you need that. And then also give you a couple chapters from my book. And those are great to use even for family home evening. So with that being said, one of the chapters I really wanted to focus on today is, I call it You Get What You Focus On. And one of the things that I teach people all the time is this little thing. If you tell someone, like, if I tell you, whatever you do, do not think about a pink elephant. Absolutely, positively, do not let a pink elephant jump into your brain. Do not think about a pink elephant. How does that work? What you thinking about? A pink elephant, right? Okay, it's pretty hard not to do. So one of the things that I have found in my business, well, in life in general, it could be with my kids, it could be with my husband, it could be with all sorts of different things, is that if I start down a path that's not very positive, or trying to tell myself don't do something versus telling myself what I do want to do, I usually just kind of hit walls. And so I kind of wanted to go back to a little bit of, what are you focusing on? What are you thinking about? What are your actions? I know, I'm hoping this might, I don't know if it will, Janae, you've been on my heart, and knowing how stressed you are, and knowing how you're trying so hard to balance family and your business and the goals that you have, the reasons why you do your business. And so it's been on my heart. And I've even had some times in the last couple of weeks where, like, I had to regroup because I would let myself got so busy that even I was like kind of not enjoying what I do as much as I know I do love it, and that I just had gotten busy, and some of my thoughts weren't the best thoughts. So as I thought about this topic, and anyone who's trying to overcome, peace, and even Kelly, that, that piece that you're trying to overcome with, promoting yourself and those kind of pieces. It's like, hey, I can sit here and write all day. Let me write great books. Somebody else promote me. And so sometimes these things that we have to do, and some of the thoughts that we take on with them. And so I'm hoping to have kind of a fun brainstorming session with both of you, and thinking about even taking a little phrase in our head, and when we feel like those fears or negative thoughts, or, oh, this is just draining, some way bring something positive to our head to up our energy and help us get through it easier with the things that aren't always our favorite thing to do, but we have this end goal. Okay, so that's where I'm going with this, because when we're telling ourselves don't think about the pink elephants, it's just it doesn't feel good, and it's hard to get that pink elephant out of our head. So, and even my son was really cute. He was in seminary, and they were asking the kids, well, what do you do to keep your thoughts pure? And that was like the teacher's nice way. What do you boys do to not think about sex all the time, and, keep your little minds in gear? And Porter's like, well, what happens when I tell you don't think about a pink elephant? And he's like, you keep your mind on the thoughts of what you actually want to be thinking about, not what you don't want to be thinking about. And I said, so what do you think about to keep your pink elephants out of your head, Porter? And he's like, my goals, my triathlons, and my electric car, and the things I want to do. I focus on my goals, Mom. And it was just so cute. So it's really cool, like, when this like sinks in, because it really does help. And we all have ups and downs, and times that we're just getting through something versus thriving and enjoying it. But this is a way to help with that. So I want you to really stop for a minute and just kind of evaluate some of the thoughts and the things that you've been thinking about lately, especially if any of them were kind of draining. But I also want you to recognize the ones that are positive and helping you too. So what kind of things are you saying to yourself? What kind of things are you thinking about? What kind of things are you reading? I'm 99% certain that most of you read really positive things. Sometimes, like, I can get on Facebook and end up reading some gossip, or, whatever stupid thing that I'm like, well, that wasn't very inspirational, or a sad story or something like that. What are you spending your time doing? Where does your energy go? So I just want you to kind of reflect on those things, maybe a couple of things you'd like to tweak, a couple of things that are thoughts that aren't inspiring you as much as you'd like them to. Okay. And we're going to go back to this part here in just a second. But if you look on page 2 of the notes, I want you to take some of those things that maybe are not, you wish you weren't saying to yourself, or thoughts that you have, and I want you to put down what you want to be saying, what you want to be thinking about. If for some reason, you need something more positive to be reading or on a certain subject, put that down. But I want you to just take a minute to be really proactive about thinking about the things you want to be saying. And it may not be out loud, obviously. Most of what we're saying is internal. Saying and thinking about, reading about, spending your time on, and filling and spending your energy on. So take a second to fill in those little areas real quick. Okay, let me know when you're ready. Okay, Kelly, you look like you might be ready. Do you want to unmute yourself and tell us just a little bit about kind of some of your thoughts and what you want to change things to? What kind of positive way you want to go with things?
I always have had this tendency to self-sabotage. And I found that the more I think that I'm doing this book for me, the more I feel like I'm not capable of doing it. And the more I feel my own weaknesses kind of coming forward. And, the fear of, I'm going to put myself out there and people are going to be like, holy cow, I'll take pity on you and I'll buy your book. And I'm so, smile and say, yeah, good job. But then they're going to go home and go, oh, I'm so sorry she decided to do this. And that was like really, really bringing me down. And so I did kind of what you said, remember the reason why I'm doing it. And then when I realized that I'm not doing this just for myself, that so it's not about me, then I quit worrying about my own weaknesses, and I started remembering, all the things that have happened to tell me this is what I'm supposed to do. And so when you said that, I thought, these are some of the things I've been trying to say, but then writing it out, they're even better. But so instead of saying, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, I kind of switched it to, I can do this, I'm capable, I know the reasons I'm doing it are right. And then instead of thinking this is so hard, it's so overwhelming, I have so much to do. And I feel like, Heavenly Father told me from the beginning there's a plan. I just needed to be patient and take it one baby step at a time instead of thinking about this big, huge thing I'm trying to undertake. And so changing my thoughts to this isn't as hard as I make it seem. And I can discover all the tools I need to succeed and implement them into what I'm doing. And then what I've been reading about lately, and I'm just going to want to continue, is just the marketing solutions, things to help me get confidence. And then 21 Principles has just been helping me, recognize promptings and follow them, and having the courage to follow the promptings, because I might get them and then I have a tendency to just kind of ignore it.
Right.
So, and then spending my time the way I've been trying, I do the tracker, and then I give myself a schedule for the week with goals and family, and same thing with feeling and spending my energy on just those top priorities. So I think that's it.
Awesome. That's well done, Kelly. How does that feel?
It feels good. I'm not as scared as I was when I first started. And I think it's because just as I take the time to really try and learn and to just calm down and stop looking at how much I have to do, and start, and instead of just thinking about what I'm capable of, being willing to say, okay, Heavenly Father, this is as much as I can do. You got to help me make up the rest, because I'm too chicken.
Yeah.
So, but that's been the thing that's made a difference. I feel like I've come a long ways now compared to when I first felt like this is where I was supposed to go.
No, so. You have. I mean, the fact that you're moving forward, there were several steps. You're like, I'm not really sure I'm going to finish any of these.
Uh-huh.
I did. I mean, you were like, I have to finish it because my husband, agreed to put money into it. But you were almost, you sounded more obligated to finish them versus you were excited to finish them. Whereas now you sound a little more on the excited side than, my husband just might be upset. Kind of. I mean, and not your husband's a bad guy, but it was like the wrong motivation to be doing
right,
it.
Right. And it was good because it did make me keep going when I wanted to give up. It's like, okay, I've invested, all this time and money into it, and so I have to keep going. Mm-hmm. And now I'm just starting to kind of get to the excited. And I had a really good friend that just told me, because I was like stressing, I'm like, I feel stupid. I have a book signing, but it's, just a little bookstore. It's not a big deal. And she's like, no, stop that. She says, you need to celebrate the moments. Every little accomplishment's a great thing, and you need to celebrate the moments. And so that's kind of helped me look at it with a little bit more positive attitude. So,
is that Mona? Sounds like something she would say.
No, this was my friend Anne-Marie.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, no, Mona's been great though too. Mona's great.
Cool. Okay, Janae, how about you, hon?
So I have found myself really kind of, it's something I do a lot. I, talk very negatively to myself. And so I want to be telling myself more that I'm strong, that I am a good leader, that I am a good mom, because that's a big thing lately, especially. I just feel so overwhelmed with everything that I feel like that is where I'm really slacking. That I'm a good, loving wife, and that I can run this business, that I can make this successful. And for the thinking, it's really the same things. What I'm saying is what I'm thinking. And so,
right.
And I want to think more about the things I can do to make the changes that I want in my life, with the business, with everything. And for the reading, I don't have a whole lot of time to read, but I do a lot of listening.
Yeah. When I say reading, my reading is audio. I don't sit down and crack open a book. So I heard.
So I probably listen at least an hour to some sort of personal development stuff.
Wow.
So I want to keep up with that, but I also want to do more with my scripture study and being able to, like Kelly said, follow the promptings that I have, because I do recognize getting promptings, and then I kind of like, and I want to find some books on confidence, find some literature on confidence, because I definitely struggle with that. And spending my time on, I need to spend less time on Facebook. And if that means that I've got to get rid of Beachbody, that means I've got to get rid of Beachbody. Because so much of my time is first reaching out to people on Facebook, and it takes up, it's distracting.
Yeah.
And I want to spend more time with my kids and enjoy my kids. So,
awesome.
Anyway.
All right. You sound more empowered. Do you feel that way, or am I reading it wrong?
No, some days I do, some days I don't. Today's one of those days where I do.
Okay. So. Did writing down those affirmations, for lack of a better word, did that help at all?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it does.
Okay.
I found myself getting a little emotional writing them. So.
Oh, bless your heart. I know. These are hard. Okay, so I'm going to warn you, this is going to end in 7 minutes. It just gave me a prompt, so I just want to let you know. A couple of things that I wanted to just brainstorm with you, Janae and even Kelly, and it was actually something I was brainstorming for myself and something I've been trying to do lately. There's a couple ways. I know, Janae, you talk about the things that inspire you and give you energy, and the things that, might eat your energy up. So I just have a couple of quick ideas for you on those, on maybe, to me, I believe in theory, okay, as moms, that's not totally possible, but in theory, when we're in work mode, spending 80% of our time doing what we're best at, okay? And then some of the other things, like, I hate paperwork, I don't want to do my website, okay? There's stuff like that I've started finding people to do for me. Hopefully I can keep my business going enough that I can pay all three of us. It will, I just, it's like that leap of faith. But a couple other things, delegating, if there's any way you can delegate some of your stuff, especially when you have kids. Sometimes there's things that, they can do for a couple bucks, and it relieves some pressure, or other people that trading services, hiring someone. And then a couple things I've thought about: getting things done that we just have to do, but we can't delegate, or we just know how to do it best, or we just can't afford to hire someone yet. One of the things is to set a timer or have a power hour. So Janae, on your Beachbody, maybe you set a timer, and sometimes when we know we have a limited amount of time, sometimes we're a little bit more deliberate about how we're doing something. So maybe you do less chit chat and you get to the questions that you need to ask a little faster. I'm guilty of that. I don't know if you do that or not, but I'm usually, everything I'm talking about, I'm reflecting like things I'm guilty of doing. Okay. So they'll tell you a little bit about me. So having a timer or a power hour on something you need to do. So maybe for you, Kelly, where it's your marketing versus your editing and your writing, of course you'd rather be doing. It's like, okay, set that timer. I'm going to get this done as quick as I can, be done with it for the day. Okay. Give yourself a big reward after getting something done that you just really don't want to do. Do the worst first. And I'm trying to remember if I was going to add a book on here, which I just realized I forgot to add. There's a book called Eat That Frog. The idea is you eat the biggest, ugliest frog first and just be done with it for the day. I'll add that to this list, but it's a book called Eat That Frog. So do that kind of thing. Or make a list of all the reasons you're going to be so glad you did it. Like, my sister was giving me a bad time last night. She's like, how do you handle not being organized? Nobody in our family is really that organized. And I had all my calendars and all this all over my table. And I'm like, oh no, you don't understand. I have classes planned out through December. I am getting organized because I've got to, or I'm not going to feel very good. And she's like, are you serious? And I'm like, yes, I'm serious. She's laughing at me. I'm like, okay. But, whatever it is that isn't your forte, my thing is, I know I love variety. I don't enjoy consistency. It's not what drives me at all. It drives me crazy is what it does. Whereas some people love consistency. They don't want the crazy person in my head that likes variety so much. But I've realized if I don't have consistency, I don't get to enjoy my variety as much. So I'm trying to self-talk myself through what's the perk going to be for me. So you can do the same thing for yourself. Okay, what's the perk for you? What are you going to get out of it that you really want if you do that thing that just, you prefer not to do? And it might be your variety thing versus your consistency. It depends on, which your motivational style is. Okay, so a couple things, ways to create these habits that you want to do. If there's anything like write a daily affirmation. One thing that I had some gals do a couple of weeks ago is every morning they got up and they wrote down their top 10 goals. And it's just your top 10 goals for that day. Just write down your top 10 goals. And after a week or two, all of a sudden the same 10 start popping up and you start realizing what's most important to you. Sometimes that's a way to stay on track. A symbol or a few words posted somewhere so you redirect your self-talk if you're, feeling yourself go down that road. Studying something specific. Both of you talked about what am I going to study specific to get myself over that hump. Accounting to someone. If you're in a slump and you want to text me and go, okay, I feel myself going down this slide, and I text back those positive words. For Kelly, I know it's you're going to be helping youth. I know for Janae, it's you get that time with just your husband. I know some of those key things with both of you. So if you ever want to do that, okay, go down the slide, Michelle. I'll send you back your note. Okay, you can do this. I know that why you're trying to do this. Another thing, if you've seen it, have you seen the Billion Clicker? The Million Clicker, Hillary Weeks. She's a LDS singer. Anyway, she has this billion clicks. So she has these little clickers you wear, and for every positive statement you have, you click, and then you report on her website how many positive thoughts you had, and her goal is to get 1 billion positive clicks, and people report in. It's kind of a cute thing. Another one that I actually heard from Bethany, who's usually on this call, is you wear a wristband, and every time you say something negative or complain, you have to switch it to the other arm. And so it kind of holds you accountable. You don't want to switch that wristband. So you change that thought process to something positive or how you're going to be proactive about it. Give yourself a reward or create a chart. Focus on what you're doing versus not doing. Okay. Now, one last thing. I have 1 minute left. So go ahead and read the assignment at the bottom. But one thing I want to encourage you, sometimes we all make sacrifices and we eliminate certain things out of our life to get certain things done. Now, one thing that I would encourage you to do to prevent burnout is have an end date when that sacrifice is going to end and you'll go back to quote unquote your normal or something you want to do. Okay. Janae, I'm hoping this idea might help so you don't, when this 4 months is up on your cruise, that you don't hit a really major, I'm really ticked at the company and I'm really frustrated with, how things have been. But set an end date for when these sacrifices that you make will end so that it doesn't feel like it's going to be forever. Do you see what I'm saying? Because I can get that in my head. I can I haven't watched my favorite show for I don't know how long, or, some different things like that. And it's okay, am I ever going to get my little, just little happy hours again? And it's I realize, if I set an end date on that, then, or, schedule in that hour in my week for something to look forward to,